let's go.
I'm impressed that Paul Walker looked like he was handling his own with Tony Jaa.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Everything you're watching is completely 1000% practical, done on a green screen.
The funny thing is I also worked on this film.
Yes.
But I got to be a robot.
I went to the hospital 2 times on this movie.
Really? Is there an injury that made you go, okay, I'm done?
This episode is brought to you by Vessi. Stick around to the end to see how you can get $25 off their amazing Everyday Move shoe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Stuntmen React. I'm here not only with our longtime friend Guy, but Travis is joining us for the first time on the couch.
What's up, guys?
Yep, he taught me how to fall off the top of this building, and I was like, maybe we should talk about some cool clips.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I have been waiting years to get invited to sit on this couch.
Yes!
And we finally made it happen. I was curious. I was like, are my credits not good enough? Like, what do I need to do to get invited to Corridor, guys?
Right.
So both of these guys have some amazing credits to their name and some amazing work under their belt, and I cannot wait to show you guys some cool clips and also to see some of the stuff that you've worked on and get some stories from the inside.
There are definitely some stories, some that I would like to forget and some that I will never forget. So let's get into it.
Sweet.
We can take him.
You said so yourself. We're not ready.
So we're starting with a dance scene.
This is not just any dance scene though, Niko. Do you know why this is important? This is actually my first ever feature film that I ever did, which I actually got contacted by the director to come in to do 1 day of reshoots. They had shot the entire movie in New York City, I think, right?
Actually, I worked on this film as well.
As a dancer.
As a dancer.
Yeah, and so they brought us back in for reshoots for this one epic scene. You guys about to see where I made my money?
Boom, right there, baby.
Don't blink, you just missed it. That was my introduction into the feature film world. Right there in that 1 second, there it is, doing a full twist with the kick. Yeah, you can kind of see the face.
Yep.
And then I do the full twist with a kick, and then my friend does a kick into a full twist, so we're kind of doing like a opposite move. But what is cool though is, of all the people in the world, all of our friends that are like world-renowned trickers, that is the first time that the word tricker was credited in a motion picture credit.
We gotta tone that little bit of history.
And luckily this came out in 2010, because 2011 is when The Kick came out. You guys know The Kick? You never seen The Kick?
What?
You never seen The Kick?
What's the kick?
We have to bring that
Christian,
up.
pull up The Kick. So basically The Kick was cool because it was one of the first times that they really featured like martial arts tricking cinematically.
How would you define tricking?
So tricking is an aesthetic blend of martial arts combined with elements of acrobatics, breakdancing, gymnastics. It's basically taking like elements of every single sport and adding the most aesthetically pleasing combinations together. It's basically like real life Street Fighter.
Okay, awesome.
Without making contact until you see.
Until you see this.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, this dude came to fight. He's moonwalking.
Let's go.
Yo, I mean, what's more embarrassing than getting kicked? A side flip to a kick followed by a dance move, right?
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for these guys over there. They're literally just crash test dummies, just lining up to get kicked.
Yep.
He got kicked in the face right there.
Straight up.
Look at this. Boom! You can't fake that. There was no stack on that hit.
None. Little Hilton Bosch for those who like to dance.
Woo! Man, I mean, how have you not seen this movie?
I don't know, man. This is great.
This is so classic, right?
I love seeing like cool new scenes on this show that I've never seen before and just being like, whoa, this exists.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Yo, I know a lot of people are freaking out about Andy Lee and Shang-Chi going crazy, but this is 2011, you guys. Hey, yo, Andy Lee, step your game up.
Right. It's not the death killer kick, bro. I love you to death.
10 years later, bro, and you got to do the double variation now.
Right. I need 3 kicks.
Yes, yes, yes.
I was born to be a vampire.
Ha! Yes.
Yo, we went from dancing to vampires? Yo.
Yeah. Right.
This was actually my first movie run. And a movie run is when you go on a film for the entire duration of the filming production. So I'd worked on films for like a day, a week, and stuff like this, but I was on this film for 3.5 months of my life.
Let her go!
Oh,
Chris Brewster in there.
yo, Brewster, Lateef.
Holland Diaz, Aaron Toney, Rich the Trone.
Aaron Toney's in this?
Yeah, Aaron Toney's in here. It's probably to date one of the craziest stunt teams that I've ever been a part of. So here's me getting my arm ripped off, get thrown by Holland Diaz, and boom, ripped an arm off. And what's funny is 2 minutes later, I get my other arm ripped off by another girl. It's kind of like glorified background fighting in this because there's so much chaos happening that we're just fighting in the background, but it's some of the craziest wire gags that are happening and you're just not seeing it. I remember Aaron Toney did an air ram to dead man, which is literally stepping off an air ram, being tied to a line that's a dead man, so it limits him.
Oh my God.
And what's crazy is it was the start of a mass chaos shot that pulls out. So every time we cut, he had to do it no matter what.
Oh no.
And you can't see it in the final movie.
Of
can't see it at all.
Of course.
Was he at least landing on a pad?
He was landing on a pad covered in snow, but that's one of those gags where it just sucks.
It's the dead man that hurts.
Yeah.
And especially with the ram.
I also still find it very funny that the fight coordinator of this movie is Jeff Amata, who's like a legendary fight coordinator known for his martial arts prowess and ability, and he's doing background fights on a Twilight movie. Talk about overqualification on the resume.
Sorry, sir, you're overqualified for this job.
Yeah.
So you're one of the wolves too, right?
So the wolves is what's crazy, which you guys would appreciate. The wolves are actually cardboard cutouts that are
really?
carried around by production assistants who run carrying cardboard, and when they eat people, they shake it at you, and you have to be pretending that this cardboard is eating you.
I can't imagine that PA running with the cardboard was at all useful for the production.
Exactly.
Like none of this is useful.
This is completely useless, yeah.
Security's early.
Finally some real stunts.
Yeah, there we go.
Finally some real stunts. This one I went on to right off the back end of Twilight. It was another one I went on to with Aaron. I remember getting called and being told I was gonna be a ninja. So for a month of preparation, I was running around my gym, practicing with the sword, doing wall flips, doing all kinds of tricks. And we show up and it's just a green screen wall. And they go, "Did you bring your harness?" And I go, "Yeah, this entire scene is wire work. You're gonna be on a wire for the next 4 months of your life."
Oh my gosh.
Then to make things even crazier, they then show up with this cinematic previs. We watched and we're like, "Oh, that's really funny." And they literally go, "No, you're gonna recreate every move in this animation." We literally did everything in this movie practical. Everything you're watching is completely 1000% practical, done on a green screen. It was not an easy scene by any means. I went to the hospital 2 times on this movie.
Really? What
Yes,
for?
I did. The most memorable one, I do a scene where I'm fighting Snake Eyes. I jump off the wall, and he's supposed to do a 180 turn and cut my wire, and my character falls down. This one right here. So it's supposed to be right there where he cuts the rope.
Oh, I see.
But as you guys see, yeah, it hit me in the head at full speed. While being on wires on a winch going 30 miles an hour at each other. So when you combine speed and force and a weapon.
Sounds like a lot of blood everywhere.
Yeah, which at first I didn't know. At first I got hit and I just got knocked out unconscious. And the reason I woke up was Aaron Tony yelled, "Yo, T, you good?" And I was like, I think so. And then he goes, "Oh no, you're bleeding." I'm like, uh-oh. But of course we're in red ninja outfits, right? So I can't see anything until they put me down on the line. As soon as they take my hood off, buckets of blood all over on the ground, yeah. I'm not gonna lie though, it's pretty cool. The person that got to double me is the iconic Ilram Choi.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I get to say, hey man, I got doubled by Ilram Choi before.
He's been on the couch.
Yeah, he's been on the couch.
Yeah, 100%, man.
We have a special cameo.
Oh!
Mama Wong, everybody.
That's my mom.
That's your mom?
That's my mom. Oh, what a gangster.
This is what a common argument in the Wong household looks like.
People wonder why I was such a good kid and got straight A's.
vegetables!
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Even in that movie when she did that, she was 55 doing her own fight scene in that movie right there.
Wow.
I have no excuses.
Right. What'd you do today? That's my question.
Sat on a couch, talked to you guys, reminisced on how cool we used to be before we got hurt.
Right. Before we broke ourselves.
Before we got broken.
Is there an injury that made you go, okay, I'm done?
There is not one specific injury that made me choose to quit, but there was one film that actually got me to the point where I decided to get to the other side of the camera. And that was a little film by the name of Transformers 4: Age of Extinction. So in that scene, a robot's gonna pick up a bus by a magnet, lift it up, and then tilt it over, and we're supposed to fall out. On the day when we rehearsed it, it was a bus with no windows, all pads on the ground, so they lifted the bus up and we'd all just flip out and fall to the ground, onto the mats. We show up on the day, and the bus has limo-tinted windows, which means we can't see how high above the ground we are, and during the scene, there are stunt people running under us. So you have no idea if you're gonna fall out and land on top of somebody. There's the bus fall.
damn.
Oh, yo,
that's
did you
Sam.
see that?
No.
That last guy that fell was Sam Locke, who is one of the most gangster guys in the stunt industry. He fell from probably 9 to 10 feet high, straight to his face, dislocated his shoulder, and the camera car had to physically stop right in front of him before hitting him. This was just crazy. Sam is about to fall. See that dude on the vest on the ground right there? That's me. I jumped early. I jumped hella early.
Out of there.
And then the other two guys that are hanging in there, they're strapped in, so they didn't get to fall. I was like, man, must be nice. I'll never forget, the scene started with 8 people, I think, maybe 7. Take 1, a guy cut his head open, went to the hospital. Take 2, a guy cut his arm open, went to the hospital. Take 3, a guy dislocated his shoulder, went to the hospital.
No.
Take 4, I'm looking around the room and I'm like, there are 3 of us left, yo. Like, who is next?
And that's Michael Bay's Squid Game.
But we did not make that much money.
The funny thing is I also worked on this film.
Yes.
But I got to be a robot. So I didn't have to go and jump out of buses or anything like that.
No anxiety attacks on
Yeah,
that one.
I was Galvatron.
That is why I have no fear.
I got to go to ILM up in San Francisco and do all these cool fights.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I had the cush job while you were working.
Must be
while you were
nice.
watching your fellow comrades
Exactly.
get taken out bit by bit.
Working on Michael Bay films, you definitely know what you're doing when you enter into those. Like, if you have no idea, then that's just kind of your fault at this point.
Right.
I will say this though, like the stunt coordinators on these jobs are always doing their best to handle the beast of the Michael Bay projects to make sure it's as safe as possible. There's just always inherent risk factor. The one thing I will say is cool about Michael is that he does get into the mix himself. So, you know, the one thing I do respect is that even though he demands a lot, he's willing to put himself in the line
Yeah,
of fire.
he's not like telling you to go and do this stuff and he's sitting in Video Village nice and cush with somebody massaging his feet. He's in there with you, so you're kind of like, I guess I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a ton more clips just like the one you guys just saw featured here. Be sure to subscribe so you can see what else we got in store for you.
Okay, so you were a performer, right? And then you're like, well, the performing thing is cool, but I'm always very close to dying. I don't want to do that anymore.
Dude.
But I still want to be a part of this industry, of this world, and do this kind of stuff. What was the next step that you did?
Let's not even lie. Let's just be fully transparent. I was on Transformers 4. I got a call from Jeff Amato who said, hey, I'm going to do a little movie called Fast and Furious 7. Will you be my assistant fight coordinator? I was like, I'm out of here. I immediately left Transformers, hopped onto Fast and Furious 7 in Atlanta, and this was the transition to the next stage of my career as a previs guy and an assistant fight coordinator. The iconic Paul Walker versus Tony Jaa scene.
Oh yeah.
You know what's so funny about this scene too when I read the script? So you're gonna take the one guy who does all wide shots, runs around, does flips and kicks, and put him in the smallest set possible.
And make him fight in it.
And they're like, hey, can you show all his signature moves? I'm like, how? We're in a bus. In order to pull this off, I have to give a lot of props to Jeff Amato, who is the fight coordinator. He basically did a lot of like trapping stuff, which Tony Jaa isn't really known for. He's known for a lot of like, you know, Muay Thai styles, big elbows, big knees. But in this, we did elements of trapping, which Jeff Amato is known for from his Jeet Kune Do background. And Paul Walker, man, so much could be said about this guy, but this guy was the first to show up at rehearsals, last to leave.
It's always nice to hear about like actors that are like that dedicated to the craft.
Yeah, man.
I'm impressed that Paul Walker looked like he was handling his own with Tony Jaa.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It'd be very hard to look like you could handle your own with Tony Jaa.
100%,
And
man.
he showed up and did the work. That's what makes it even cooler. It's not double work, it's Paul Walker showing up and doing like, I'm gonna get it done.
Vision hubs, right? That's right.
So this scene was super unique and I'll never forget it because it was the first time I ever got the chance to work with The Rock. He showed up on day 1 of rehearsal and I'm like, all right, Dwayne, we're gonna like walk through it. And he's like, I do this there, I do this there. And he tackled me to do there. And I literally go, you know the whole fight? And I'll never forget this. He's put his hand on my shoulder, he goes, I used to do 30-minute live shows, little brother. This is 2 minutes.
Ah, yes!
So badass.
But what was unique about this was our first fight scene for the entire production, so it really set the tone for the whole film. And what was crazy about it was that on day 1 of principal photography, our lead stunt double for The Rock had to go into the hospital into emergency surgery.
Shout out to Tanawai.
Shout out to Tanawai Reed, The Rock stunt double.
And cousin.
Yeah, and his cousin. Right there. Boom.
Oh man.
So what happened was he got tackled through that glass window, right? The glass is real. It's loaded with a charge of pyrotechnics that someone on the effects team will pop right at the right time so that it shatters the glass, and then your force going through it is what actually breaks it. So what hurt him was when he lands on the table, he lands on top of glass. It basically shoved into his arm, almost cut an artery right here in his arm, and he had to go literally into emergency surgery right away. We're only halfway through the fight scene on day 1, so we literally had to call in a favor on a guy that was a stand-in for The Rock on Hercules, fly him in emergency overnight, teach him how to do fight scenes, teach him how to do the rock bottom. And what's cool is you fast forward now to like 5 years later, that guy is one of The Rock's stunt doubles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. On like some crazy double scale contract or something, you know.
Making money.
Yeah.
Having worked with a couple like bigger dudes like The Rock, I've never seen people who are more disciplined and exacting with their work and their job than people who do action and are also incredibly physically fit at the same time.
1000%. But yeah, honestly, in my personal opinion, the fights are literally what has brought Fast and Furious fans back to like a grounded reality. And I think that's why they're putting so much emphasis on the fights, you know, because the car stuff has just become almost like comical. It's like, you can't do that. You can't fly a car like that, you know, but the fight scenes are one of the more realistic things, I guess you could say. As we watch The Rock about to fall out of a window 50 feet onto the top of a car.
And survive.
Obviously, you're both huge fans of action, but is there a realm of like stunt work that you're like, you know what, I want to see some cool stunts of this type?
I personally would like to see if anyone out there knows of any other tricking choreography that exists. I would love to see if there's any overseas films that people know about that feature more acrobatics that we've never seen.
Along with that, I'd also like to see more ninja stuff. I feel like ninjas got a bad rep in the 90s.
So you're saying that Surf Ninjas wasn't very appreciative, or?
Yeah, nobody appreciates that movie. I love that movie.
Do not talk bad on Surf Ninjas. That was my childhood.
Let's
you know?
run, let's hide, let's kick some butt.
Not to mention, that has one of the biggest stair falls in cinematic history.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know about the stair fall?
I didn't know about this.
That's got to be an episode in itself, y'all.
That's another episode, for sure.
Hey guys, it's me back again to tell you about today's sponsor, Vessi, and why I've been doing stunts in their everyday moves. They're the everyday sneaker for you, and let me tell you why. For all you people who don't live in Los Angeles, there's this thing called weather. It happens in most other parts of the world, and that means that the thing on your foot is gonna be trouncing through mud, snow, water, what have you. And guess what? With the everyday move, you can not only wear these every day, they're 100% waterproof and go through almost any different type of weather condition. You could put your favorite pet mouse in here with a little cozy blanket, hose down the shoe, pull him back out again, let him go into the world, and he wouldn't even know. He wouldn't even know. Too bad for you, you took your designer shoes through a wet puddle. Now you gotta spend 5 days cleaning them off, take them to a specialist. With the Vessi Everyday Moves, you just throw these into the washing machine. You take them out, you set them out to dry, you put them on again, and then boom, there they are again, good as new, ready to go. So these really are truly the everyday sneaker. And if that's not enough for you, these shoes also are made from a patented Dymatex material, which keeps you cool in the summer and warm in the winter, and they're sustainably made. They use less water waste than most other sneaker manufacturers, and they use no animal byproducts, meaning that they're vegan. So if you've been inspired by this show and you want a shoe that can keep up with you through training or exercise or just every day out and about, the Vessi Everyday Move is one of the perfect shoes for you, and you can get $25 off right now by going to vessi.com/corridorcrew. That's vessi.com/corridorcrew. You can get this sneaker right here or any of the other beautiful sneakers that they have. Get moving.
Travis and Key, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Travis, what do you got going on if people want to, check out some more of this stuff?
Yeah, if you guys want to stay up to date with my personal journey, you can check out my Instagram at @TheTravisWong. And more than anything, I am a co-owner of Joining All Movement alongside Aaron Tony. So if you guys want to follow us, check us out on YouTube at Joining All Movement or JA Movement on Instagram.
You guys know who it is. I'm Guy DaSilva. You can find me on Instagram. I changed my name recently. It's my whole name now, Guy DaSilva-Greene. You guys keep hitting me up about coming back. I'm not in charge of that. So if you want me to come back and be on this amazingly comfortable green couch, bother Niko.
You can follow me on Instagram at NikoDIG.
Direct DMs there.
Yes. I'm like, hell yeah, I can't wait to be on Stuntmen React again. They're like, when are you gonna be on? I can't wait, man. When it happens, I'll be here.
Hey, it took me 2 years, so what do you complain about, bro? Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been dope.